Welcome to the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you take the first steps on your fitness journey. Whether you're new to working out or you're looking to get back into it, we've got you covered with tips, tricks, and inspiration to help you reach your goals. So grab your workout gear and let's get started. All right, and we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mack to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. I hope you all are having the best day of your entire life. It is Monday. It's the beginning of the week. So y'all know that means we got to start off on the right note. Did you move your body today? Did you get up? Did you work out? Did you go for a walk? Did you get some sunlight? Did you work on your health? Did you work on your health, wealth, and relationship goals? That's what you need to ask yourself every day. That way you can improve and get 1% better every day. Last week was episode 50. That was a big episode for me. Super excited that we made it this far on the podcast journey. Honestly, after 50 episodes, it's hard to come up with topics to talk about. I kind of discovered that. So if you have any topics for the podcast that you think I might like to cover, or if you have any questions just in general, hey, I can use them for podcast topics. Y'all hit me up. Social media, Murphy Mac Fit on all social medias, or you just search my name, it should come up. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna update y'all about myself. I did the longest training. Well, no, I did the longest bike ride I've done yet for the triathlon training this weekend. I did a 4.5 hour ride, and I did it all in my living room on my little trainer, and it was absolutely terrible. It sucked. When you're talking about your butt being raw, my butt was raw when I got done. It was terrible. And then right after that, I had to immediately go into a 45-minute run. So altogether, I worked out for 5 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, I know that sounds insane because it is. It was terrible, but that's part of it. That's what you got to do. When I'm doing the actual Ironman, I'll probably be on the bike for about 6.5 to 7 hours, probably anywhere from 6 to 7 hours. So that's not even as long as I'll be on the bike in the race. So I still got to get better. But yeah, that's about it for my training. I ran about 13 miles on Sunday. I don't know exactly. I didn't add it up. I did an hour 45 in the morning, and then I did 30 minutes in the afternoon. So in the morning, I ran 10 miles. In the afternoon, I think I run about four miles. So actually, it was about 14 miles. But yeah, back to it. Nothing new really. Still just training. Can't wait to get for the Ironman to get here. I'm getting anxious. Like I'm ready to get it over with. I'm ready to do it. But yeah, that's enough about me. We're gonna hop into the quick tip of the podcast, and today's quick tip is I think it plays a very important role right now because I don't know about where y'all live at, but where I live at is hot, really hot. So today's quick tip is going to be just to simply stay hydrated. Not only because it's hot outside, but because staying hydrated is good for your overall health and well-being. Period. Like you need to be drinking water all the time, even when it's cold. You need to stay hydrated. I mean, it's good for pretty much every function that your body does. You need water, you need fluids, you need to stay hydrated. But it's especially important right now because it's so hot outside, especially if you live in the South where it's super humid. So yeah, you're sweating out a lot of fluids, a lot of electrolytes. You also need to not not just drink water, but also replace your electrolytes. That's huge too. Because if you drink too much water, then you can like deplete your electrolyte stores and you can still become dehydrated. So drink a lot of water, even if you're not working out. If you're working out or not, drink water. If you're just going for walks, drink water. If you're going for runs, drink water. Like, I don't think we have to tell you this anymore, but it's very, very important. Honestly, just drinking water, even if you're not working out, will just make you feel better. Like you will. Like your day, you'll feel more energized stuff if you just keep a constant flow of fluids in your body. Because your body just needs those fluids to function, to do like everyday activities. So enough about hydration. We're gonna hop into the main part of the podcast today, which is, do you need to track your calories in order to hit your health and your fitness goals? That's what we're gonna talk about. Like the pros and cons of tracking your calories, if you should or should not track calories. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now that, in my opinion, I think you can go either way. Like you can track calories, or no, you don't have to track calories. So I think it's good for some people, but then I think it's counteractive for other people. So we're gonna talk about that in the podcast. I'm gonna kind of give you my own opinion. And then at the end, I'm gonna tell y'all kind of what I do and how I got to where I am now. So yeah, some pros of tracking calories are it provides precise data. So calorie tracking gives you accurate information about your daily energy intake. If anybody knows anything about losing weight, it's calories in versus calories out. It's that simple. However many calories you take in versus however many calories that your body burns in a day, that determines if you're going to lose weight or if you're going to gain weight. So, if you want to lose weight, you obviously should take in less calories than your body burns in a day. If you want to gain weight, you should take in more calories than your body burns in a day. That's the difference between a calorie deficit, means you consume less calories, or a calorie surplus means you consume more calories. It's pretty simple. It's not that hard. Calories in versus calories out. So next, it can provide awareness and education. So tracking raises awareness of your portion sizes, it raises awareness of your calorie count, and it helps you make more informed food choices. So if you know you're tracking your calories, you're subconsciously going to make better food choices because you know, oh, that's going to be a lot of calories right there. I shouldn't eat that because that's going to put me over my calorie goal. So therefore, you're probably not going to eat that food. You're going to eat something more healthy. Number three, it's accountability. So it holds you accountable and helps maintain consistency in your dietary habits. So it's kind of like what I just mentioned. It's going to make you more consistent because you're not going to be as willing to splurge on those sweets. Because like normally when you just grab some sweets out the pantry, you don't ever even think twice about how many calories it is. You just like, ooh, I want something sweet right now. I'm gonna go grab it. But as soon as you go grab that sweet thing and you all of a sudden got to log it in your calorie tracker, then it changes that whole process up. It makes you think about it more, holds you more accountable. So number four, customization. So it allows for tailored meal planning to meet specific goals. You don't just have to follow one strict diet. You can substitute different foods without having to like completely mess up your diet. Say for example, you know you're going to eat a big dinner one night. You're going out to eat for your birthday. Well, guess what? You can kind of lower your other two meals throughout the day down a little bit and take less calories for breakfast and lunch and save some extra calories for dinner. That makes sense. So like you can kind of customize it. You don't have to eat the same amount of calories for every meal every day. You can swap it up. Or for example, if you missed breakfast one night, you couldn't eat it. Well, guess what? You got those extra calories from breakfast to play around with during lunch and dinner. Or if you wanted to have a snack later in the day, you can have a little snack. So you can customize it to your schedule, to your liking, however you would like to do it. It's not super, super strict. And then it helps you identify patterns. So helping identify patterns or triggers, it can help identify those triggers in your eating habits. So it can help you determine when throughout the day you're having those cravings. It can help you determine how much you're eating every day, how much you're eating at each meal, how many carbs you're eating, how many fats you're eating, how much protein you're eating. It can help identify different types of food that you're eating because when you track it, you're going to have this log of all those different foods, so you can see how many times you've eaten each food, what time of the day you've eaten each food, things like that. So some cons of counting your calories is it's time consuming. Yeah, tracking calories is very tedious. It's time consuming, and it might keep you from wanting to track your calories. I will say though, as you do it, you get better at it over time. And in today's day and age, there's an app for everything. So it makes it so much easier to track calories because everything has a barcode and there's so many apps out now. You can just scan the barcode and boom, it'll populate it right into your app. And then you won't even have to add anything up. All you got to do on most of them is just pick the serving size of what you're getting. So it makes it a little bit easier. Another con is obsession and stress. So it may lead you to an unhealthy obsession with numbers and create unnecessary stress around eating. If you're very like hard on yourself, you can create that obsession to where you got to track literally every single thing, every single ounce, every single serving, which Depending on your goals, yeah, may or may not be a good thing. If you're a bodybuilder and you're training for a show, obviously you need to be kind of obsessed about it. But that's like a whole next level. That's like taking it up a notch there. We're not going to talk about bodybuilding. So yeah, it can cause like unnecessary stress on yourself because if you go over your calories one day, you're going to stress about it. You're going to obsess about it. So the next day you're probably going to go way down. You're going to cut your calories way back, which is not necessarily a good thing. So you can become obsessed with it, which is not always a good thing. Another con is sometimes tracking calories can be inaccurate. So calorie counts on food labels and tracking apps may not always be 100% accurate. So I think the FDA allows your food label to be off by 20%, I believe it is. It's like 10 to 20%, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's a pretty good margin. Like 20% is a lot. So, for example, if something says it's 100 calories, it may be all the way down to 80 calories or it may be all the way up to 120 calories. That's just a quick example. So you may think something's 100 calories, but it's actually 120, which is it can put you over your calorie goal sometimes. But for the most part, I like to believe most nutrition labels are pretty accurate. I don't know that for a fact. I just like to believe that. So I'm gonna stick to them. And then sometimes in the apps, they don't register correctly, or like some people will put in their own calories for certain foods. You have to be careful on like MyFitnessPal. People can log their own foods on there, and they'll put their own calories and stuff on there. So sometimes you gotta be careful with which one you select. It may cause you to be a little bit inaccurate. But for the most part, I think they're pretty accurate for the most part. And then another con is over restrictions. So some individuals might develop disordered eating habits due to overly strict calorie goals. Like I said, if you're trying to lose weight and you need to eat 2,000 calories, well, you may start eating like 1,500 calories so you can lose even more weight. You're being super strict on it. But really all you need to do is eat 2,000 you'll lose weight. So eating 1,500 calories is too low. You don't want to drop too much calories at once because it's not a healthy way of losing weight and it's not sustainable at all. So you can sometimes over restrict yourself. The next part of the podcast is should you track your calories for weight loss? So I'm going to give you a yes and a no answer. So yes, you should track your calories because tracking calories can help you create a calorie deficit. So as I mentioned earlier, weight loss requires a calorie deficit, and tracking can help you ensure that you're consuming fewer calories than your body burns in a day. It can also help with precision. For some, precise tracking can be essential to stay on track and reach your weight loss goals. If you're just trying to do general weight loss, you don't have to be super precise, but you need to be pretty close. You need to be within about 10 to 20% of your goal target weight. Your goal target calories. And then you should track your calories because it helps you learn portion control. Calorie tracking helps teach portion control and promotes mindful eating. Once you do it for so long, you will start to develop a good sense of how many calories are in certain foods. Like the foods that you eat a lot, you'll learn how much calories are actually in those foods and how much is in each serving size. Because what you'll realize is serving sizes are a lot smaller than what you really think. Like if you look on most nutrition labels, anything that's like liquid, it's all like 2 tablespoons is a serving size, which is not much at all. So you'll start to learn more about serving sizes, portion sizes, and how much calories are actually in them. So as you actually track them for a while, you start to develop a better sense of how much you're actually eating. So the next part of the answer is no. You should not track your weight loss if it creates stress and discouragement. So constantly monitoring and restricting calories can lead to stress, and it may discourage some individuals from pursuing their weight loss journey. So this is if you get too obsessed with it, it can cause you to be stressed. It can cause discouragement if you know you're going over your calorie tracking limit every day. So if your limit's 2,000 calories and you're going and eating 2,500 calories, you're going to get discouraged. So it may discourage you, some people, and they may just quit. They may give up. Or you may be the person to say, hey, I ate over my calories this day. I'm gonna lower them back down the next day, kind of even itself out. So that's what you need to do if you go over. It's not the end of the world if you go over your calories. It's gonna happen. Everybody's not perfect. It's gonna happen. And then it also, um, another reason you shouldn't track calories is because you want to create sustainable habits. So weight loss should be focusing on building sustainable habits rather than relying on calorie counting. So the whole goal with calorie counting is to eventually stop doing it, eventually to get off of it. So you don't want to rely on calorie counting forever because you're probably not going to do it forever. But it's a good starting point to get you started on learning how much you're eating, learning serving sizes, learning calories, proteins, carbs, fats, learning things. So it's a good starting point. And then as you do it for a while, you'll develop that better understanding of how many calories are in each type of food, how many calories in a serving size. And this eventually will allow you to better it allow you to make smarter choices throughout like the rest of your life rather than having to nobody wants to count calories for the rest of their life. That's just not realistic. But when you first start on your fitness journey, I suggest that you do because it'll give you a good starting point. It'll give you a good base. So that was mainly like tracking calories for weight loss. So now I'm gonna talk about tracking calories for weight gain. So yeah, you should track calories for weight gain if you're trying to build muscle because it'll help you achieve that surplus that you need. So muscle building requires calorie surplus, and tracking helps ensure that you're consuming enough to support muscle growth. And you can make those adjustments that you need to your diet. If you're not gaining weight, obviously you can bump it up. Or if you're not getting enough protein, you can get your protein in. That's another thing. I would suggest if you're trying to build muscle, I definitely suggest tracking your protein as well. Don't worry about carbs and fats, just do calories and protein. And then if you're trying to build a muscle, you don't necessarily have to track your calories. So you need to use intuitive eating. So some individuals may prefer that. Listen to your body's hunger cues to gain weight and build muscle. So if you're hungry, obviously eat, but try not to eat junk food. Eat a protein source. Eat something that's some semi healthy, some vegetables, some fruits, stuff with protein in it. And honestly, for you really skinny guys, you're gonna kind of have to overeat. You're gonna have to eat more than what you're used to because obviously you're not gaining weight if you're real skinny. So you're gonna have to eat a little more. And then you're working out on top of that. So you're burning even more calories. So you need to eat a little more. And it's all trial and error. So without strict tracking, you can still achieve your goals through trial and error. This is kind of the way that I've done it. And you kind of learn what works best for your body. Back to the topic of how I have done my calories leading up to this point and what I do now. So no, I actually do not track calories. Yeah, I've done it a little bit in the past, but I'm mainly on the side of trying to build muscle. I'm not trying to lose much weight, so it's not as necessary for me to track my calories because I'm not trying to be in that deficit every day. I'm trying to be in a surplus for the most part. So what I've done is I've really focused on protein. Protein is my number one priority. I make every one of my meals based around protein. So I make protein is the first piece of food that I get in my meal, and then everything else revolves around that. But no, I don't track carbs and I don't track fats because I don't think it's that necessary. I'm not training for a bodybuilding show, so I don't have to be super strict or super precise on how much I'm eating. I try to get at least 1 pound of protein per pound of my body weight. Right now, I'm about 168 to 170 pounds. So my goal for a day is I want to get 170 grams of protein in every day, at least. That's my goal. And I don't really have to track calories when doing that because I'm not eating a bunch of junk food. Yeah, I like sweets, but most of the time my sweets are like a protein bar or Greek yogurt or some beef jerky. So like these snacks are, yeah, some of them may be a little higher in calories, but they're high in protein as well. I'm not just eating a bunch of junk food all day, every day. But don't get me wrong, every now and then I do like to splurge and give me some ice cream or have some sweet, but that's okay because I'm gonna get back to the gym and I'm gonna work out, so I'm gonna be good. So luckily, I mean, honestly, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with my body type that I haven't had to be super strict on my calories. I've always been on the skinnier side of things. if you're like me, then you're lucky because you don't have to be as strict and you can kind of eat. You can get away with eating a little bit more in a day and not put on a bunch of fat. But if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum, unfortunately, you may have to track your calories if you want to lose some weight. That's just the case. Sorry. I know it's not fair, but life's not fair. Nothing in this world is fair. So you just kind of have to do what you got to do. You got to make it work. It can definitely tracking calories can definitely help you hit your goals and help you lose weight, but it is not necessary. I think you should use it as a tool when you're first starting out. Even if you are trying to build muscle, use it as a tool to help you get a good understanding, a good basis until you fully develop that like nutrition knowledge. And then you won't really need it after that. You can kind of go off your own tuition. You know what I'm saying? So in conclusion, the decision to track your calories depends solely on your personality, your lifestyle, your schedule, your specific goals, things like that. So you kind of have to determine if this is the route that you need to go on your own. So while calorie tracking can be beneficial for some, others may find it not convenient. They may find it overwhelming. They may find it a little stressful, and that may kind of deter them from even wanting to keep losing that weight. Yeah, they definitely gonna quit counting calories, but they may even quit on their goals too, on their fitness and health goals. And we don't want that. And then you want to focus on your overall balanced nutrition. Focus on mindful eating, consistent exercise. All this can lead to a healthy and sustainable lifestyle. So whether your goal is to lose weight, to build muscle, remember that it's essential to find an approach that works best for you and supports your long-term well-being. So that's the overall goal with the whole thing. So yeah, that's my spiel on tracking calories. If you should or should not track calories. So some people should, some people should. I know it's not a clear answer, but if you're just starting out, I say yes, track your calories. You need it first starting out. But eventually over a year, 2 years or so, you probably shouldn't have to do it no more. Moving on to the fitness quote of the week, or not really fitness quote, but motivational quote, whatever you want to call it. We're going to hop into it. Today's quote is from Steve Jobs, and it is, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." I'll read it again. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. So what does this quote mean? To me, it's kind of like that quote that you hear, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. For when it comes to fitness, I love fitness. Like I like working out. I like pushing myself. I like sweating. I like doing that thing, that kind of stuff. So it don't feel like work to me. It's not something that I have to do. It's something that I get to do. So that's how you need to change your perspective too. You don't think about going to the gym as something you have to do. Think about it as something that you get to do. Something that you get to work on your health. You get to work on your fitness. You get to work on your mind, all that, your body, all that stuff. Once you kind of change your mindset and you love to do it, it no longer seems like work. I know everybody thinks when you think of work, you think of something that you don't want to do because nobody actually wants to work. But if it's something that you enjoy doing, then it's not really considered work. It's considered a hobby or a passion or something to that effect. So yeah, that's what I think about that quote. Y'all let me know. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. That's going to be the end of the podcast. If you have any podcast topics that you want to hear, let me know. DM me. I would love to talk about it on the podcast. I need suggestions, so y'all hit me up. Hope y'all have a great rest of your week. It's only Monday, so y'all got 4 more days of the rest of the week to get after it, to grind, to work on your goals, to track your calories. But yeah, y'all have a great day. Peace, love, protein. We out. Thanks for tuning in to the Fitness Beginner Podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring. Remember to always start small, set realistic goals, and most importantly, have fun. Don't forget to tune in next week for more tips and advice on how to kickstart your fitness journey. Until then, stay active and stay healthy.